Welcome to the IslandStats.com Football Show, your weekly dose of all the action from Bermuda's top football leagues. We bring you in-depth coverage of the Premier and First Divisions, results, highlights, analysis, and exclusive interviews. We also keep you up to date with the latest news and developments from the Bermuda Football Association. Stay tuned for the IslandStats.com Football Show, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about the beautiful game in Bermuda. Now let's join the IslandStats.com Football Show team. Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of the IslandStats.com Football Show. I'm your host, Darrell Basin. Joining me as co-host, Andrew Griffith. We are awaiting the arrival of Garrett Punchy Dill. Griff, obviously, the buzz, the talk, the hot water, the cool water, the everything is still centered around Friday night's match between Bermuda and Jamaica at a sold-out Philadelphia Southfield Stadium at the National Sports Center. Obviously, there's a lot of talk right now, hindsight talk, I would say, and what we should do, who should do what, this person should play, that person should play. Anytime you can make those decisions, it's when you're involved. But saying that, let's get to it, Griff. Obviously, we knew because we had the pregame show, we talked about the challenge that Bermuda was going to face. And obviously, Jamaica, being seventh ranked in the region, clearly showed why they're seventh. We created chances. We had our opportunities. The difference between the two was they put away theirs and we didn't put away ours. But give us your assessment of Friday night.
It was a good game. I think again, true enough, we didn't put away chances, which changes the complexion of the game. Maybe if we score early, they get more aggressive, or they sit back. Who knows? But taking chances alters the game a lot. So woulda, coulda, shoulda, but they did what they had to do and what they expected to do, and they got the result.
One of the things was, and we talked about it earlier, was set pieces. We had to not give up set pieces deep in our half. And we give up an early set piece, and we go down 1-0. Things change right after that.
Is exactly what Punchy said. Said we got to be careful with these set pieces. They got 2 goals from set pieces and 2 goals based on individual skill and speed. So they did, as we said in the pregame, they had some very fast, wide players, and those players were causing us a lot of problems.
Yeah, and they utilized that to their strength. One thing I noticed, they were allowing us to have a lot of possession in the middle of the field and allowing us to play through certain channels. But the minute they won the ball, they would spread it and was on a quick counterattack each time and forcing us to be running towards our goal a lot, and they just kept doing it and allowing the play to go through certain channels. And I was like, okay, so maybe we need to try something different. But I'm only watching. I can only hope. But I think some people are taking what they consider target shots at players, whether they like them or dislike them personally. It's becoming kind of crazy, a little disheartening, because we should be supporting one another. We as a country took part on Friday night. We didn't leave those men out there by themselves. So I just think
just as I would say, as enthused as we were by the turnout and the spirit and the feeling of the crowd prior to kickoff on Friday, like just as excited as it was about that, I'm just as disappointed with some of the reactions.
Yeah,
because some people are now thinking this team is horrible, it's trash, but we can't say that. Like, for nothing, although it's a loss and it's 4 goals, it's not a bad result against a team that is expected to win the group.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they do have like Punchy and I say, we had technical difficulties at the end of the game.
Right.
So out rose the interviewing different players. We sat there through Niki's interview, they interviewed the Jamaican player, and then brought the coaches. And look, oh wow, that's Steve McLaren. I forgot that he was the coach.
Right.
So they have a big name coach.
Yes.
And
yeah.
make no mistake, his full time, and I guess he's based in Jamaica, so that doesn't come at a cheap figure. I'm got to be guessing it's got to be making over $1 million if it's their full time, because he could be making that money elsewhere in Europe.
Yeah.
It's an established Premier League coach.
Right.
So if it's their opinion, so they have more money than us. Like they can splash that out. I don't think somebody's going to pop out of the sky and give us a couple of million to hire a coach. So they have that advantage over us. Two, during the interview, one of the Jamaican part of their admin team, they interrupted and said, look, we got to wrap this up soon because our plane's leaving soon. They said, what plane are you on? Look, our was closed. No, we have a private charter. So they were out of here before midnight. So they have that at the disposal. So they're paying for private charters. We don't have that. I think our guys flew out on commercial today.
Yes.
So that's the difference that we're dealing with.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people that are bashing or negative are more people that like football as opposed to really understand football. If you look at some of the comments online from former footballers and the like, you would see, and one of the things that is being stressed the most is that now we're in this particular field, we now see what that gap is. You know what I mean? We're constantly now getting out of that other group because we had to see what that gap was, and we were successful in, and now we're regularly getting ourselves. Hey, Punchy.
Hey, finally got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Yeah.
Hey, Griff.
Good.
Right.
Yeah, I was telling Griff, now that we're in this group, this round of stage, we're seeing what the gap is in the level of football between different countries when you're knocking on the door of the World Cup on a regular basis, such as Jamaica, Curacao, and Trinidad are, to when you're just making that step to knock on that door where we are. And it's going to take some time, and I think we're gonna see up and down performances at this level, but it's just a matter of being patient with the players, understanding where we are, and support. I think he hit his button and went out.
Yeah.
But he'll be back.
But Earl, I want to disagree with you slightly there. I think we have always known what that gap is, and we try to work. We have over the last 10, 15 years, football, the money in football has changed a lot over the last 15, 20 years. It's more money, and with more money, more people come involved, the pressures are greater, and the technical analysis is greater, and football is not the same as it was 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
It's different. It's very competitive.
Yeah.
So I would say that previously, like the last time Jamaica qualified for the World Cup, when they were going to the World Cup, they didn't think of having a warm-up game against Bermuda because we were worth the time.
Right.
But I bet you, let's say Oregon, it works out, Jamaica qualifies for the World Cup. I believe that we're a better team now, and we would be worthy adversaries for them in a practice game. So I think that's the we have closed the gap from the last time Jamaica qualified. Although we're still behind them, the gap is not light years where they're like, it's not worth your time having a practice game against Bermuda. We won't get anything out of it. They'll get something out of it.
Yeah. Punchy, give us your assessment on a Friday night match.
I do. Well, I thought at times again what we talk about the pregame show, set pieces, about just basic defending, and being prepared for this game. Now, what I was afraid of is that would the occasion get the best of Bermuda players? I think some of them did. I just thought that were they overwhelmed by the occasion at the beginning of the first 45 minutes? They may have been, But I just thought that once that first goal went in, and then the second goal, it was like, wow, we're up against it. And I just think that adding to what Griff said about now at the international level, there's so much things have been said to me since then about, are we fully prepared? Do we have better play? Our players as good? Or it has, as a top nation, those top Caribbean nations that are higher than us move drastically much quicker than us in terms of funding, organization, and how they, just how far they are ahead of us.
So remember
And
when we were sitting
that
watching
showed
the
up. That showed up. I'm sorry. When we look at and then to add to this, that showed up when you look at, and I think we talked about this before. Where Bermuda, most of the Bermuda players are playing, and where some of the Jamaican players have been. Most of the Jamaican players are playing. We have to look at that in terms of standard and quality. In terms of what we up against in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I was starting to talk about, remember when we sat after the game and we were listening to the post-match interviews by the international press? They were interviewing Michael Finley, the Bermuda coach, and he said in the changing room that Harry Twite was still pissed off and upset, and he said, "You know what? I prefer that because that shows he knows he can do better and he wants to do better." Said we shouldn't have people in the changing room like, "Oh, cool enough, it's okay. Like we did the best we could." Is if they have that drive to do better and want more, said he prefers that.
Well, I'm glad you said that about the passion, but there's one thing to have passion, but there's also another thing to have quality with that passion.
Yeah.
And I think we've got to start thinking about that also. I thought, again, at times we could have, once it was 2-0 up, and I was saying that when that ball was good pass from Reggie Lamb into Nakeem, and his first touch took the ball right outside. I said, maybe this is a sign here. I think if that goal would have been on, maybe the momentum might have shifted. I think it would have.
Yeah.
I thought it would have. And
I think because when we were talking about at the pregame show, Punchy, and you indicated during that pregame show, there are set pieces, and to concede so early from a set piece, a lot changes right away. Right away.
Yeah,
because now
that's right.
Everybody's on edge. You don't want to give up another free kick. And that's why I think so many people backed off for the second goal. Everybody backed off and allowed the guy to just keep running. In the head, you can't give up a free kick, but you have to try to stop the ball as high as up the pitch as you can. You can't allow somebody to keep dribbling, and dribbling. So, in the back of people's minds, they got to just try to figure these things out.
Well, I think you're right. I think good. Earl and Griffin. Now they have these. They did it. Okay, now they're going to have an assessment of the game.
Yes.
Now the second goal, the guy was on just over the halfway line.
Yes.
I thought the tackle should have been made then.
Yes.
The first that tackle should have came in then. You might have to take one for the team.
Yes.
But that tackle is 20. He's that far from the goal, and that's pace. Okay, yes, he does have pace. Yeah. So, but I thought that that was just another sign of our inexperience. I thought of defending.
Yeah.
And then I didn't see the third goal.
Right.
But the way Griffin explained to me, it was similar. Right. Speed. He had enough room.
He just dribbled. Nobody picked him up when he was dribbling.
Nobody picked him up. Yeah.
Across the field.
Yeah.
Even the crowd was telling him, "Stop ball, stop ball, stop ball." He just kept going and going and going.
I think guys. Mostly conversations I've had. So again, the same thing. The expectations were getting higher of us. They're getting higher. Yeah. Because now when it comes, like I said, like. Everybody says, "Oh, our players are playing. Mostly players are playing overseas. They got to be better than this." Well, that's up for debate. And I think now that our expectations are getting higher, we have to come to grips also with the reality of those expectations.
Yeah.
When you start looking at the quality that we have in that team.
Yeah.
I thought Reggie Lamb played good.
I want to push back on that. Sometimes the expectations, because it's if you're not used to seeing some of that speed every day,
Yeah.
It can baffle you when you get out there. Is he saying the famous Mike Tyson saying, everybody has a plan till they get hit. You get hit like that before, you're like, oh, wow, this is something different. Is he saying when you first see the speed, Channel living on there, and oh, wow, that didn't work. He went a straight cross me. So like, some of that stuff, like, it's just, again, like we said in the pregame show, you can't coach speed, and it's very difficult to coach against speed if that player hasn't seen that speed.
Right. Yeah, and it's one of those things that until you're faced with it, and then you have to figure out how to deal with it as it's happening. It's not like, oh, this is a training session and coach blows the whistle to stop. Okay, this is what you should do. No, you've got to react, kind of thing. And the longer you take to figure it out, the more damage is being done because you're finding yourself chasing. And I mean, if you look at the amount of times the players were going down in the second half with cramp, purely because you spent the night chasing, your opponent and doing things that you normally don't do. Most of our players are used to facing their opponent's goal. Most of the games that they played on Friday night, they were chasing the man they were marking because they were quickly knocking the ball.
As we sat there watching the game, during the game, we felt, me and Punchy sitting together, felt sorry for Billy Clemens. He did most of the chasing Friday night. They were like going at him. Even so much so we were like half an hour after the game, and he was coming out. He looked exhausted, like half hour, 45 minutes after the game.
Yeah,
I thought, I thought they made some substitutions in the second half, and we're talking about the beginning of the second half. The first 10, 15 minutes, we saw something different, which was good to see. Jamaica gave them a little bit more time. They were battling the ball. The last pass into the final third was good, and there were chances created. And then it could have been 2 goals. It could have been like 2-0 at that time. It could have been 2-0 for you. So I thought, but see, those moments don't last long. That's my problem.
Yeah.
They don't last long, and I thought, okay, you missed another few chances, but defensively, again, we became too open. It was too easy for them after that. Yeah. And I like to say also the last goal. Where was, if you were to look at, where was Dante Levock? Like, he comes on, but and I was telling you, Griff, the guy had enough room. I mean, great header, but the marking was just it was poor. I thought the marking was poor.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when they do analog, we go that they will look at that and see that again, set piece.
Yeah, gotta identify your man quick.
Yeah.
But I think that the matter, I don't know if it's done, who was supposed to pick him up, but it's like it's hard to accept somebody getting a bullet header direct from the corner in your 6-yard box. Like that's whether the defender or the keeper like that, it shouldn't happen.
Well, let's take our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk more of the Bermuda-Jamaica match and then get into, obviously, the Dudley Eve and Charity Cup, remember? We'll be right back.
You ever crack open a Coke and just... perfect.
It's that cold, classic hit that never lets you down.
Whether you're chilling with friends or just need a break, you can't go wrong with Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Nothing else compares.
Proudly distributed by Butterfield and Vallis.
Summer is still going strong, and Lindo's Next Level has what you need to make the most of it. From coolers and barbecue gear to beach umbrellas and picnic supplies, you'll find all your summer essentials in one place and in bulk. Whether you're planning one last big bash or a laid-back weekend by the shore, stock up and save upstairs. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Big signs beneath the cloud blue sky, where the ocean meets the line, and the long tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years, it's been stylish, proudly Bermudian, bringing us men. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. This stylish, proudly Bermudian. This stylish, proudly Bermudian.
And welcome back. Well, let's turn our attention to, because we have to quickly turn our attention to Tuesday night. Bermuda take on Curacao in Curacao. Curacao and Trinidad drew 0-0 later Friday evening after Bermuda's match. So obviously now Bermuda has to, realistically, there's 5 games left. There's 15 points out there. If you want to be the second best team to qualify, you're probably going to need 12 points. Curacao is going to want to look to be strong at home and take the 3 points at home. So basically, this one here is going to be an all-out game. I mean, for Bermuda, what's your thoughts? Punchy, does Bermuda just really need to attack and just say, let's just try to get the best out of this?
I think the first thing is that, again, like I said, not losing. Okay, let's say if you're going to get a draw, right? That gives you 1 point.
Yeah.
Okay, and that still might put you in contention with Trinidad, because then Trinidad's got to go to Jamaica.
Right.
Right. So you're on 1 point now, and if Jamaica beats Trinidad, let's say, so if we can get a draw, or be great if we win down there. If we win down there, because there have been times when we could do that, like when we beat Cuba.
Yeah.
And Cuba's no really pushover.
Right.
So I'm saying that that if we can get a draw, at the least a draw, and then we're home to Trinidad, I believe.
Yes.
Right. That would have to be a win.
Yes.
But this game on Tuesday, even with the 4-0 defeat, I'll draw. Hold your heads up, start again. That's done. What's done is done. And let's come out with a draw at the least. And it's going to have to be tight. Phineas has to decide about giving up early goals. I just watched, and if this makes a comparison, I just watched the European the World Cup qualifiers. It was just on at home. And maybe this is just something for us to food for thought. Turkey we're home in front of 60,000 people,
right? And
Spain beat them 6-0. So so I'm just saying, we can have this defeat last night, right? Okay,
right.
The other day, the national on Friday night, but we got to get up and this is just another test for us. Yeah. And like Griff says, in the international arena, we're still growing. And sometimes the negativity filters through sometimes like that. But we have to manage this, and we have to still support this team and support the direction that I believe the association is trying to go in. They're going in the right direction. I just think that it's going to take more time than we think, realistically.
Definitely. Griff, your thoughts?
I think if we're going to be realistic, let's say if Bermuda doesn't qualify, okay, that's one thing, but we got to give a good account of ourselves. So that means, although we don't qualify, we can have a say in who goes to the World Cup, our results. So we will help determine it. So if, let's say, people are Jamaicans, I know overseas, they get a little boost. We took you guys. I said, well, guess what? Curacao is now sitting at home saying, they got 4. Yeah, we got to get 5 to go top of the group. So Curacao will be running that for me, trying to close that goal difference. So that's the other side you think of it. And if lo and behold, they got a goal difference of 5, then Jamaica messed up when they came to Bermuda. So
right.
That's the balance of trying to qualify. And same way, Trinidad will be looking like, we're going to get more than a goal difference of 4 as well.
Mhm.
So we won't see if that game was a letdown for Jamaica, or it was something like if the other team struggled to beat Bermuda and it's 1-0. Okay, then Jamaica has to you had a good game. But if they do manage to like put more in Bermuda than Jamaica, you were off, and that means you're probably not going to the World Cup. So the pressure is all around on all the teams.
I look at it also in facts and figures and saying, what, there's 6 games that you have to play to get to the World Cup. Am I correct?
Yes.
To qualify. 6 games. Okay, so I get it becoming, like you said, Griff, adding to that. Now Curacao, and I'm thinking about what your answer, also adding to what you asked me about the game in Curacao on Tuesday night. Now Curacao have definitely got to try. They're going to be going all out to top of this group, because this is a great chance to get to the World Cup right now for this group we're in, for anyone that wins it.
Yeah.
So it's a great chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
if you win the group, you automatically go through. So,
that's right.
Yeah.
So let's say any one of the teams in any game, you must. If you get up, I don't know, 4-0 early, you're not taking off players and resting them. You're going to keep going.
Yeah.
Because it comes down to goal difference.
Goal difference. Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
Goal difference, then head to head, and then from there. But yeah, you want to maximize as many goals as you can in getting 3 points, regardless of what the score is. It's only going to be 3 points, but that goal difference, it may come down to that. And somebody might be on the outside looking in.
The playoff spot, it could come down to goal difference and trying to find the best they team.
Yeah.
And the other thing, guys, adding to our conversation about the Bermuda team and their, there were some very good individual performances, I have to say. Harry White, I thought was really good. I thought Harry White was really good. Maybe in the marking, but I thought his passing, he looked really calm. He looked exceptionally. I was really pleased with his performances. A few others were questionable. McKee maybe at times didn't get enough service, but maybe he wasn't at his totally best. But again, take your heads up and let's see. We really need to do something good in Curacao on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So, Funky, remember, we sat through all the post-game interviews, and what we both found, like when they interviewed Nikki, what we want the most of it all is and I guess he's had more media training being away, his responses were more measured and mature. He acted like a senior player. He took full responsibility for the misses. Could have been better. I'm going to be better next time. He didn't criticize his teammates, trying to lift them up. We got to all together. I was impressed by his interview at the end.
Yes.
What about you, Bungie?
Very professional response and answers. Yeah, I thought so too, Griff. I'm very, very happy. Yeah, very happy. Really good to witness that conversation. Yeah. Well, all the the interviews were so good to be around that and hear that.
Yeah.
Even from the coach McLaren, and Finley. It's wonderful. It was a wonderful time to be in that environment, to listen to their comments.
Yeah,
and the knowledge.
Especially immediately after the game. That's when you get the true reflection of, how players and coaches feel. When you got a day to think about it, when you talk to them, when Finley gets interviewed the day before, or tomorrow before the game on Tuesday, his thoughts are a lot different. Yeah. But because it's right after the game, the emotion and everything, that's when you get the true reflection of how
it's more raw.
Yes, how one feels about their team and their performance, kind of thing. So yeah, that's measured where you get that different sense of just the application of how they answer questions and what that answer is going to be. Because as we've all seen, some managers, even in professional football, where they're so frustrated right after the game that if they don't take a breath, man, they could run on. But then you see them 2 days later in a press conference, and they're the tone is different, the message is different, and all of that. So it's just, I'm glad you guys get the opportunity to see and hear just how that all materializes, because it is very interesting You know, especially some people will ask different questions, and one might say that's an aggravating question or a leading question to get an answer of what you're poking at, kind of thing. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah,
it is what it is. And then your question also, right? The question's also been asked, or conversation been asked: are we well prepared? Should we be prepared much better? Should we be together more for these games? And I think that we just, the question was, do we spend more time together as a national with the national team? Do we play enough warm-up games?
right.
For this magnitude of this competition that is so close to home, and are we is the national team fully prepared, or maybe they need more time for these games?
I can speak to that because you become a victim of your own success. Because if you develop players and you have them all playing overseas, it's better to play at a higher level. But it happened to Trinidad when they qualified for the World Cup. The issue becomes after that, you're bringing players back from different countries and assembling them all together for any period of time and getting them released from rest. It's a lot bigger administrative task, and it costs a lot more money.
Yeah, and you also have to measure. You also have to measure the amount of training you're going to do in the lead up to the game, because what you don't want to do is in the week leading up burn out the legs, and then they have nothing for you when game time comes. So, the team started training on Monday, right? So I think they had 1 or 2 sessions on Monday, maybe 1 or 2 sessions on Tuesday, but then you taper off. You're not trying to get a team at the national level. You're not trying to get a team fit. You're trying to do most of the things that's going to make them gel, their strengths, kind of thing, and you only got that week window to get the team together. Through the FIFA, the qualifications of FIFA is, you're released from your club after your game on, for the sake of the guys in the UK, after the game on the Saturday, they fly in on the Sunday and train on the Monday, start training on the Monday. And if the game's Friday, you only got 3 days to get ready, because the fourth day before the game, you got the walkthrough. The day before the game, you're only allowed on the field for the hour. You're not going to,
So having said that, do you think at the start of the week they have in their mind who that starting 11 is going to be, and they see what they do in training to make a few tweaks, or do they come with a clean slate and then work it out up until like Thursday? Okay, based on what I'm seeing in training, this is the 11.
Yeah, I would vision Punchy, because coaching, you always want to have a basis of your 11 starters, and you always look at that from the start. So when you pull in players, you're looking at saying, okay, I want this player to play this position. That's why he's in the squad. I want this player to be a backup to that player. That's why he's in the squad. So yeah, you would have in your mind 11 players to start against, your quote unquote Jamaica, and you would have 11 players in your mind to start against Curacao. It may be 1 or 2 changes, but in your head, you've got a team already assessed. Now, in training, it could change because somebody might not be working out to how you want to play the system, and somebody else might be filling in a little better. So then the squad changes just a bit. Well, the team starting 11 changes just a bit. But Punchy, wouldn't you? I mean, when you're coaching, you have a nucleus base of 11 that if they're available, they're going to start, and then you fill in the blanks after that. Is that kind of in the right way of looking at things?
Yeah, I think you're right, though. And the other thing, adding to that, what you're saying is that now as a coach, and also adding to that is the numbers that you have in terms of, okay, but I don't need this guy. Who's next? Who else I'm going to put in his place in that position?
Yes.
And do we have the quality and the quantity here? And that's also been a question. Okay, I would have changed my plans. We're going to take out this guy, Ray Clemens, and the way he looked like he was a bit out of it. He had ran his race. He had played the best he can do. We can't get nothing else. Who else will come in there and do that job? Do we have another one after that? And so we're looking at numbers in terms of quality also at the national level. Once you have to change your plan and you're saying, whoa, we need a better attacking fullback, a better attacking wing half, because this one here is too slow for this person. And so that's also debated. That's also questions to be asked also. Quantity, yes, but quality would be also very important for replacement when you have to change your mind about your team.
So I saw some exchanges with a few coaches online, and they're asking about what is the Bermuda identity or style of play. Well, do we have one, or do we just
plain and simple? We
with
don't.
what we have?
Plain and simple, we don't. We don't. We haven't identified. We haven't identified. Maybe the coach has an idea of what he wants to do. Even we could go back when Carl and Ray had the team, they identified how they wanted to play, but as a country, we can't. We don't know how we want to play. You know what I mean? So if you look at it, when Carl and Ray had the team, they played they played guys that they knew they could play to the strength of what that's going to get them by. You know what I mean? But now we have Finley and these guys that are looking at, okay, this is what we want to do, but do we have the quality player in that position to do what they want us to do? So are we going away from what our strength? What's our strength? Keeping the ball on the ground, knocking it, moving around. We're not going to beat no team in the air. We can't. We're jumping in. We're reaching the hips. You know what I mean? We only have X amount of players with height that's going to match some of the players that we're up against, in set pieces. So we're going to keep the ball flowing on the ground and allow ourselves to be running off the ball.
So one question on that, because there's other things online. Where is Coho injured?
Yes.
Or is it okay?
Yes.
What about the other tall one?
Milan
Butterfield. Yeah.
No, he actually played yesterday.
Okay.
He has not been called into the squad since Finley has taken over.
Okay, so that's a coaching decision.
Yeah. Well, let me correct that. I don't know if he's been called into the squad.
Okay.
He has not been in the squad since Finley took over.
So we're looking for like taller players, but I guess it has to be a reason why.
Yeah.
I guess we leave it at that.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I mean he's an outstanding holding midfielder that can win the ball in the battles. He likes those type of crunchy stuff. So, but hey,
but again, in all that we're talking about replacements and quality of replacements. Who's going to come in and take your spot if they're the number one or number two? If the number two gets he gets injured or something happens to him, then who else is going to be available?
Yeah.
And then that question is it's also been asked about the country of our size of our country and the standard, the quality of the players that he has to pick from.
Yeah.
And so that leads into a total different conversation again. Another part of numbers and quality in numbers.
Yes.
So since this is a talk show, let's talk about the elephant in the room and just see what you think. So, do you think it'll ever be a time when Nathan Trott plays the goal for Bermuda?
That's totally up to Nathan Trott.
But do you think one day maybe he'll decide?
That is totally up to Nathan Trott. And whatever Nathan Trott is planning to do with his international career, that is totally up to him.
Do you think he would make a difference?
Do we want him to play?
Yeah.
Yes. And I think, honest to God, it's exactly like the Naki factor. When Naki is in the team, there's a big buzz in the fans. There's a big buzz in the players. If Nathan was in the team, there'll be a big buzz in the fans, and there'll be a big buzz in the team. Because when you have quality of what they bring to the program, it builds everybody else around them. So would I love to see Nathan play? Yeah, I think everybody would love to see Nathan play, but that is totally Nathan.
Understood, but that's the question for everybody. But so, do you think he would have made a difference on Friday?
Could have. So the difference between what happened Friday and what happened in the past. Okay, so right now Dale hasn't been playing. So when you're not playing regularly on crosses, on distributing the ball, it's not that normal stuff anymore. I'm hesitant because, okay, can I get there? You're doubting yourself. Where when you're playing regularly, you don't even think of it. You just do it.
It's more instinctive.
Right. So I mean, okay, so he's gonna have areas where he's doubting himself or he's questioning, should I go? Should I do this? Should I do that? When, because he hasn't been playing. Now, if you take it somebody like Nathan who has been playing and has been playing outstandingly, that a lot of these stuff would have come natural to him. Attacking the ball, helping his defender, helping organize his defenders, distributing the ball. I'm not saying that Dale done a bad job. What I'm saying is that because Nathan's been playing and Dale hasn't been playing, and even D-Trey, even CJ,
Right.
they've been playing. So the opportunity for them to even do a little better or whatever could have been worse. But it's just, I'm pretty sure you'll see if Dale starts on Tuesday, you'll see a better performance because that instinct is there now. He's got that, what do we call, cobwebs out. So yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. We're gonna take our second commercial break, and when we come back, definitely we were talking about the Charity Cup and the Dudley Youth matches that have taken place so far. We'll be right back.
The pink sands beneath the clear blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian, bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian. Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian.
You ever crack open a Coke and just... perfect.
It's that cold, classic hit that never lets you down.
Whether you're chilling with friends or just need a break, you can't go wrong with Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Nothing else compares.
Proudly distributed by Butterfield and Vallis.
The sun is out and plans are on, but you've still got groceries to get. Let Drop It do the shopping for you. From ice cream to grill supplies, we'll deliver your summer must-haves straight to your door. No lines, no stress, just cold drinks, hot grills, and more time to enjoy the sunshine. Order now at dropit.pm. Summer delivered right to your door. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, last week Sunday, the Charity Cup took place at Bernard Park, where the Dandytown Hornets defeated North Village Rams 2-1 to get the season underway. Were you kind of surprised, Griff, of what you saw from North Village?
A little bit, not that much. The finishing could have been better, but with both the strikers from last year being out, maybe that's understandable. But you would expect somebody to step forward. But last year Village did have issues when those players did not play, because we had issues when we were missing players for cricket last year. So it happens, and Dandytown did look very fit, and they look hungry and like they wanted it. So a 1-0 game is, you can't be that surprised, because it happens. But you don't take your chances. One girl will stand up and win it for you.
Yeah. Punchy, what excited you about the play of both teams in the Charity Cup?
I thought it was the standard was all right. Answering about Dannytown. with Jaru Hayward. His form, it looks like he's in charge, totally in charge. His I think his particular style of football, possession game. But they've added a few more quality in certain parts of the team in the midfield. So the passing game, the movement was good. With North Village is going through a transaction. Of course, what Griffin just mentioned about, first of all, the strikers. The Jai Pitt and John Tate not playing it's a real problem. It's become a problem because they win the game. They were winning the games practically by themselves last year. Some great goals that they scored. So now, Hector's conversation. Where the goals going to come from now?
Right.
Where are the goals going to come from now? That's up to the coaching staff and how they're going to fix this. Again, with the addition of new players that are coming to the team. They're playing in the midfield now. They brought in Case has come back.
Yeah.
Cougars. Now I watched him play, and his performances have been okay, but his lack of quality in the top third has been questionable. Because Devonshire Rack, they were using him as a wide player. At one time he's playing as a wing back. Yeah, and then he's usually been a wide player. So now he's being used on the inside for North Village as an attacking number 10, a number 10 role.
Right.
And it's to take time for him to adjust, really. It's just going to take time. Again, his seniority is there, but still, Otto Bridge have still got a good, I think North Village is going to have to figure out, again, the coaching staff going to figure out, well, okay, this is what it's like. This is where we scored the goals. This is where the goals came from. They have to come up with another plan in terms of how they're going to start scoring these goals for the next. Because they're going to be able to do those guys for a couple more months, at least up to December.
Right.
So the punch, if you remember, at 2-1, when Village got the goal, at the last 3 minutes, just threw the sink at them. And it was a lot of good build-up. We were making it, but just couldn't finish.
Yeah.
We got all the way up to the goal, crosses, corners, everything. Could not finish.
They weren't finishing.
They were close a couple times. We got to equalize. Okay, man. But they just a couple times the ball you thought like it was on the goal line, just wouldn't go in.
See, that's the thing. Again, we're talking about those slow instances in the game, whereas with Jai and John Tate or the Shield Smith, those were goals last year. Those were goals out of nothing. So they're gonna have to find another way now. And that will be the dilemma right now for North Village.
Yeah. And then they had the rain the following night, and the matches were moved to Tuesday night at Bernard Park again. And this time it was a goal feast. The opening match, Crossroads and St. George's, ended 4-4. St. George's up 4-1 in the second half, and in the last 10 minutes, Crossroads were able to score 3 goals after St. George's had a player sent off to draw 4-4. But, if you're giving up 4 goals, looking at both teams, if you're giving up 4 goals in your first game, back to the drawing board defensive-wise, would that be a good way to look at things, Griff?
No, I think it's a credit to the Crossroads coach. His first comeback, right, for Reed.
Yeah,
he got a way to do his pro license, I think. So I think his of a good quality. If you give him that man advantage, it's going to work all the way to get those 3 goals, and he did it. So you can't give teams that hook. Up 3 goals, we should be able to last. Not easy sometimes.
Right. Yeah, and then punchy the second game of the night, Devonshire Cougars and PHC, that ended in a 2-2 draw. So the entire night you got 12 goals in 180 minutes. So just looking at it, Cougars, we were waiting to see what players meant to them and how they would kind of mesh into how they were looking to play this season, and also PHC, how are they going to try to get over the hump they didn't get over last season.
Yeah, but well, they also changed the coach to Boyd.
Yes, yes.
That could be interesting too. He's been in the national program. It's interesting, and Pringles, it's going to be some discussion held about that. I'm sure.
Right.
The way that was done. That's number one. That was, it's it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Yes.
Mind about that anyway. But Cougars, there's some question marks about Cougars because there were some players that left. So everybody's anxious to see that Kwame is now coaching them what they are really about. But the beginning, the first games, like it's like a girl piece. Between both games in that 8 plus 4, that's 12 girls.
12 girls.
Wow. Yeah. Well, the spectators really got
the money's worth.
Some money's worth.
Yeah.
And kudos to North Village now with the lights, and that's a great thing for North Village. But in terms of against those teams, Cougars and Cougars to themselves,
Right.
it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
I put my I at the first game, and I had seen Crossroads. I saw them in the practice match against North Village, and I knew watching them, wow, the guy's going to be difficult. They're not going to. They have he's brought back intensity to their team, and he's also brought back camaraderie. And they have some few good players. The guy, they were in bed. I saw them in the practice match against North Village, and they were very good. I just like their intensity. They never say die. He has some very organized, and they weren't bad down there against North Village in the practice match.
Right. All right, Griff, you're gonna see who's gonna be hated the most this season. Last night at BAA Field, the opening match saw Boulevard and Paget Lions. Boulevard won 3-2. Looking at it, obviously Boulevard coming up, they want to make a statement early. Paget obviously finishing third last year. Was it third or fourth last year? They want to make a statement as well, but come out on the wrong side. What do you think? Where do you think these two teams end up once the season starts?
Yeah, so the team that always gets promoted is just like in the English Premier League, are always favored to go back down.
Yes.
And Boulevard has done the yo-yo thing over the years. So I think for them, their focus should be on staying up. So I don't expect them to have the mindset that they're going to win the league. I think their focus is on staying up and trying to consolidate and maybe get more players next year, the following year, and to be a contender and not keep going up and down. Paget, it remains to be seen again. Like they have to prove themselves all over again. Are they a regular team to be contesting for the title, or was last year just the time when the stars aligned? They have to prove themselves all over again.
Yeah. And then the nightcap punchy, a repeat of the Charity Cup. North Village playing Dandytown, and Dandytown edged them 1-0 goal in the 5th minute or 6th minute of the game. And Dandytown ended up having a man sent off in the 63rd minute. So the last 27 minutes, North Village had a man advantage, but just couldn't get through that. Well, couldn't break down that Dandytown defense.
Yeah. The goal was practically given. It was a gift. I think the goal was a gift. The defender, North Village defender, had the ball. He had it back towards Dandytown's goal, and instead of just going on and playing the ball outside or just taking the time, the ball was rubbed from him. The guy put the ball in the goal. But I wasn't really happy with the performances or the quality of the game. Maybe my expectations of watching Jamaica and watching that international match, my expectation, you're like, yeah, I know the quality was very poor. North Village again brought on some younger players that are still going through development stages. And then I don't know if you guys heard the questionable penalty. Wow. Also, yeah, but I think again, Dandytown, they look pretty solid. They definitely look pretty solid. And again, North Village look very below par standards. There was a lot of individual performances, and then I got to give kudos to the goalkeeper because Pierre played in goal, Pierre Smith, and done a wonderful job. Saved the penalty too. Saved the
Right.
penalty.
Right.
You know, Pierre had a lot of fight in him. But Norfolk is going through some real trials. They're gonna really have they have to sit down and do some really soul searching in terms of, or there's so much changes in the team. You know, new players coming in. They're gonna have to find another way now with the other guys coming on. I thought they were very poor last night. And
Yeah.
and then what happened is maybe you guys know more about it. If I can ask you guys this question. Okay, the penalty was given. The goalkeeper had been adjudged. I believe this is what happened. Had been adjudged to move before the whistle. Am I correct? That's right.
Yes. Or maybe before
Right
the
before
kick is
it up, but Jalen Harvey took the penalty. Of course, the goalkeeper saved it because he was in position. He was moving.
taken. Right.
I think what happened, because I haven't heard the full story, and I think this is what happened. The linesman had his flag up to the penalty be retaken.
Yes.
The referee overturned it because he said after the save was made, there was a foul on the goalkeeper to get, there was supposed to be a foul. Now, I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it
I
doesn't
don't
make
know-
any sense because the
From-
infringement happened
Before the ball.
the fall. Yeah. So you can't. The infringement happened before the fall. So if the goalkeeper moved off the line before the penalty kick is taken, then the penalty kick, regardless of what happens after the kick is taken, the kick should be retaken.
The kick should be retaken.
Yes.
That's what well, anyway, you'll hear more about it. Because it caused some heated arguments in the parking lot, of course. But I just saw it. Wow, so those things happen, but it was oh God. But again, the performances, maybe I expected too much in quality. But now again, adding to this, Dennytown look a better team. They look a little bit. They get a little bit. Sometimes when they control the game, they get a little sloppy defensively. But there's
Right.
something about them that I think they're going to be a good choice for me to win more silverware this year.
Yes. All right. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for joining. We'll be back. There is a doubleheader taking place this evening at, I believe, Bernard Park.
Yeah.
With, just trying to think who's playing that first match. The first match, Devonshire Cougars are playing Social Club, and then at 8 p.m. it's St. George's Colts and Devonshire Colts.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
So
And this
can I ask one more question? Because
Sure.
the
Uh-huh.
the field just reopened, and I know that the games this week it was supposed to be at BAA, but then when it got rained out and they wanted to play it the next day, I guess BAA was booked already for training, so they moved it to Bernard Park.
Yes.
And I was game here today. So the question I have, and it's been a lot of rain this week. I don't know if you seen the field. How does the field stand up to more usage?
Yeah,
That's my
that's gonna be challenging. They have to let the field recover. You're gonna have to let that field recover. It's like you said. We've had rain. We've had so much going on. Got to figure a way to kind of spread it out just a bit. We're gonna kill one field before the league season even gets underway. So
Yeah. PHC have a lights too, don't they, you guys? PHC's lights to work.
but they play cricket, so you got to let that
Yeah.
Oh.
that hard
Sometimes
patch
it's-
in the middle. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because-
That's what I would up.
A few years ago, it was a point where Devonshire Rex lights were out, and it was
Yes.
only Somerset and BAA.
Right.
And eventually, a lot of games out of Somerset and Somerset's field got torn up.
Torn up. Yeah.
But you guys, I'm glad because again, when we talk about the comments about that, we talk about the national, what happened to the results. At least we're all having a conversation about it, and I'm just thinking that we're going to, the show itself and being, having discussions about this, and being openly, challenging people too, which I think we do, in terms of asking people questions, about certain things, and I think it's so important for it's so important for the country. For to have a show like this that people can be asked, And again, last but not least, I was glad with you and I, Griff, to be in the presence of watching McLaren and just watching the interviews, how well and professional they were carried out and the answers that were given. Yeah. I think we need more of that, even at the club levels, more coaches speaking out, saying about what the plans are. We need to be asking that, because the Bermuda public now travel more. They're sensitive towards, you see a lot of us that go to England to help family in England and go watch these big games. People get more knowledge on what they are expecting in this country now. Whether it's reckoning, whether it's behavior by players, whether it's quality, which is most important, and also what Griffith just alluded to was that pitches of what you guys are talking about.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So this is all important for for what the country is going, the direction the country is going in.
Yes.
So
All right,
I think,
gentlemen. Yeah.
Good. All right. Thank you.
We'll see you next week. Enjoy your
Okay,
evening.
Take care.